Portland. Hey guys, welcome back. It has been a crazy few days, and since I have a 45-minute drive to go hiking, I figured I would let you guys in on what the fuck has been going on. So we get to Saturday night. My friend Jason comes over, and he gets there about 1 in the morning, and I'm playing Twitch. Of course, he gets there right as I am in the middle of a firefight on Apex Legends. So he comes in, I greet him, it's all Gucci. Then I look at him and I go, do you want to start driving now? I know it's 1 in the morning, but I personally love and prefer to drive at night versus during the day, because during the day I'm squinting, there's traffic, it's awful. He looks at me and he goes, you seem really excited about this, so sure, let's go.
Over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, funky Comadina.
My whole plan was to stop at some point between Charlotte and Columbus, Ohio. But for some reason, every hotel along the way was fully booked for something. I don't know what the event was. We ended up not being able to find a hotel at all, so we drove straight through the night, got there at 9 in the morning. Our hotel was wonderful enough to allow us into the room early. Check-in wasn't until 3. They let us in at 10 or like 10:30. We're exhausted. So our wonderful friend Wesley, he is also known as a Bourbon Dad on TikTok, took me and my friend Jason on a private tour of the Watershed Distillery. Now this distillery is amazing. They are known for their bourbon. They've only been open for about 10 or 11 years. They do have a bonded bourbon, but the one thing that stuck out the most was their gin. The most unique thing that they had in their distillery was their gin. I've never tasted a gin like this before. I took a bottle home naturally. Fast forward to Sunday morning. We get up, leave, and head over to the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Now for some godforsaken reason, it was about 100 degrees out that day. So I voted against doing a tour of that distillery since everything was outside. So this building is for Weller and Sons. And the quote at the bottom says, we make fine bourbon at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always fine bourbon. Because they wanted to make sure that everyone had access to the bourbon that was the best and always be selling it regardless if they made a profit.
I'm filming you while you're filming us. Filming yourself, filming.
Yeah. So over here in this building, they have a cask, and every million casks, the millionth one goes in this little itty bitty building. But it's supposed to be the perfect, mathematically the perfect house for one barrel. And this barrel sits here until the next million, until the next million is produced. And then that one will go into there. And they will auction it off for charity. See how they open the windows to get rid of the heat and stuff? All the heat that's produced. Now the main difference between the Watershed Distillery and Buffalo Trace, other than the experience, is they store their barrels differently. So at Buffalo Trace, they store them on their sides. But at Watershed, they store all their bourbon barrels up and down, which they told us was smarter because then they could store more bourbon inside of it. I was told by the Buffalo Trace people that the reason that they store it on their side and not up and down is because there's so many barrels that they have to go through and transport and move around that it's easier for them just to roll it off the dock. In between each warehouse where they store all of the bourbons, they have these little train track looking things. That is actually how they transport the barrels from one warehouse to the next without having to cart them everywhere. So they just roll them between. After leaving Buffalo Trace, Jason and I went to go have dinner with my friend Autumn. She took us to this amazing steakhouse called Steak and Bourbon, which of course I want to go to a place called Steak and Bourbon. That sounds so good. It was an upscale restaurant. Everything was wonderful, beautiful. I had the surf and turf. They make a great old fashioned that they make with Old Forester and Amarena cherries. Delicious. Before we headed to dinner, we went to the place called the Raven, which I loved because I actually have a tattoo of a white raven on my arm. It's a tip of the hat to Doctor Who and the episode where the raven kills Ara Oswald. Also because Edgar Allan Poe talks about the white raven. And if you know what I'm talking about, we can be friends. Alright, y'all ready for an adventure? There's a guy changing next to me. Let's go! Tracks are blocked off, or yep, can't go over there. The gorge is also blocked off, can't go over there. All trail use prohibited. Okay, I found a falls, I think. Yeah. So let's go look at these falls. Ain't all sunshine and rainbows, kid. It's a very sweaty and drunken place. Whew. Everything the light touches is a hoe. Beat in the woods? I beat in the woods. Classic.